What? Hold on. It's October 1st and a cold trying to come up on me? Not like that. What's up, Saucy Scholars? Hope you keeping it cool. Said it popping. Yo, collar. You try to take me out. So y'all be on my top when it comes to Vybz Kartel. Y'all act like y'all in his cartel. You feel me? Which is real nigga shit. Y'all riding for y'all. You feel me? I understand. But I don't want to keep repeating myself like a broken record. Now, I said I didn't know much about him. I just knew that first bad song that I heard. It was terrible. It was terrible. I'm like, man, where did he come from? Why is everybody on his dick? And y'all like, yo, I should react to the documentary. So this is his come up and his downfall, and then his come up again. You feel me? Because he's back out. He back out making noise. So let's go ahead and hop into it and see what they been hitting on, man.
At the peak of his career, Adidja Azim Palmer, otherwise known as Vybz Kartel,
That's
was
a pretty
known as
name.
the king of dancehall.
Adidja.
However, just as he was on the verge of an opportunity so big it would change his legacy forever, he was hit with the biggest surprise of his entire life and sentenced to life in prison. How did a random DJ from Portmore become...
Wait, he was sentenced to life in prison. He was sentenced. They gave him, bro, he was already in that bit, ready to serve that life. Nah. And he got out? That's crazy.
How did a random DJ from Portmore become arguably the most influential man in Jamaica?
He started as a DJ.
And more importantly, is he innocent
bass.
or guilty of his crimes? Well, to answer these questions, we have to go all the way back to 2008, when Vybz Kartel would have the biggest beef of his entire career that got so big and caused so much violence in real life that the literal Jamaican government and Prime Minister had to step in and intervene. The feud that would be known as the Gully Gaza War was between Vybz Kartel and another artist that was rising so quickly in the game, he had people wondering if he was about to take Vybz Kartel.
So I want to hear how Vybz Kartel even got his statue of the king of dancehall. How did he even earn that name? That's what I thought we was gonna start off from. You feel me? Maybe I should have went back further. But we about to see his come up and his downfall, because I don't know nothing about this right here.
His position. This man's name was Mavado. Mavado started out in the background of the music industry.
Y'all wanted me to react to the lyrical war too. Somebody sent me that bit a long time ago, and I'm pretty sure it's still in this playlist. Let me know if y'all want me to go back and react to that or not.
Writing songs for other artists and taking other behind-the-scenes roles. But all of that would change when he decided to drop his first ever single in 2005, and it became an instant hit. Ever since then, every song that he has ever dropped had made him more and more popular, and the people took to him so much that he was being looked at as the new version of what Vybz Kartel was when he had just came on the scene. To make matters worse, Mavado was a protege of Bounty Killer and a very strong member of the Alliance, the same alliance that Kartel had fallen out with just a few years before. After leaving the Alliance, in the songs Kartel would drop, you could find lyrics where he would occasionally diss the members on the Sykes, but it was never anything too obvious. But eventually, these disses grew more and more, and it seemed as if Kartel had started targeting Mavado directly. Eventually, Mavado seemed to have had enough of the subliminal warfare, and as bright and brawling as...
See, you keep poking the bear until that motherfucker bite back, and now it's a problem, you know what I mean? Mavado got tired of that shit. He let it slide, though. It's the fact that he was letting it slide.
Mavado seemed to have had enough of the subliminal warfare, and as bright and brawling as he could possibly be, he released a 3-minute diss track aimed at Vybz Kartel, titled New Name for Informer, Mr. Palmer. And so the audience had no mistake.
He said, fuck it. He said, fuck it. I'm going to dedicate a whole track to you. Fuck dissing you in a couple lines, a couple lyrics. I'm dedicating a whole track. That shit funny.
As to who he was talking about. In the song, he accused Kartel of being an informant for the police, along with a number of other very disrespectful things. And of course, in true Kartel fashion, he wasted no time in responding with another song called Mafrado. The warfare of these... time in responding with another song called
Mafrado. Mavado this. Damn, I almost hit a million. No, this video was not made copyright.
The warfare of these two giants going at it, along with the fact that they each had superstars who were sworn enemies on their team. Bounty Killer with Mavado and Kartel with Beanie Man. The warfare got so big that it split the country into two factions. The Gully side, representing Movado's place of origin, Cassava Peace, which is located on the side of a gully in Kingston, and Gaza, which refers to Vybz Kartel's home community in Portmore. The war between Gully and Gaza got so intense in the music that, I kid you not, real violence in real life started to take place between the fans of each side. And you could see...
This is where y'all just lose y'all noodles. You feel me? They said the fans of each side started going at war. The fans. The fuck y'all gotta do with anything? Y'all niggas ride too hard for other people, but don't ride that hard for yourself. This shit is so fucking sad, bro. Now, niggas is just well, hold on. Let me not say that word. Niggas is just slow as fuck, bro. What the fuck?
Real life started to take place between the fans of each side. And you could see Gully and Gaza graffiti starting to pop up in random places, and people took their supposed affiliation to either side extremely seriously. It was to the point...
They don't even know you! They don't even know if a fan was to die right then and there because they was arguing or going to war with somebody else on the other side. The artist, bro, Vybz don't even know your ass. Don't know your name, none of that. And that's just like how it is now, with y'all repping 6, 7, 8, 9, 88. I'm 8, 4, 7, I'm 7. Well, y'all niggas lame as hell. Let's be fucking real. Y'all niggas lame as fuck. I'm not gonna lie to you. Them niggas don't know you. They don't know you.
Point that several shootings started to take place, and even tourists were being attacked in certain places for playing Movado's music in Gaza territory.
That shit crazy,
Police
bro.
even investigated several schools where vendors could be seen selling explicit material supporting either side, showing gory and blood-ridden images to the children of either artist holding the severed head of the other artist, and other disgusting depictions. The war between the sides of Gully and Gaza got so bad that the literal government had to decide that they were going to get involved. And in March 2007, an official press conference was organized with many police present to have Vybz Kartel and Movado publicly declare that their beef was over. Imagine one music beef was so bad, so till the government have to step in, but
them niggas sitting beside each other, bro. And they was going so hard dissing each other. Niggas dying behind this beef. And now they sitting beside each other. How y'all... I know this shit is just for media, just to get the country to calm down. But how you think your fans feel stupid as fuck? Niggas out there dissing and doing all that, and then they come on and see them niggas sitting together. Even though it's for the media. I understand. Y'all niggas look stupid, and not even look stupid. Y'all niggas... Bro, that shit pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro, so you know, say them man, they think different. Now, this period of peace lasted for a while. But of course, I think we know damn well say that never did go last. And shortly after, they were right back at it again, flinging diss track after diss track after diss track. The animosity was so high that naturally, everybody in the dancehall community was expecting that this would be the main clash of that year's upcoming Sting. And of course, they were absolutely right. In one of the most iconic nights of dancehall history, Adidja Palmer could be seen walking onto the stage fully clad in camouflage uniform, while Movado was seen dressed as a police officer. The two clashed back and forth for what seemed like an eternity, until it eventually ended when Movado walked off the stage. This is what led the majority of the Gaza fans to say that Kartel won the clash.
Why did he walk off?
Of course, the Movado fans were not having it, as they believed that Movado was the true winner of the clash. And just like that, we were right back where we started, with Gully versus Gaza blazing with tensions hotter than were ever seen before.
Back at square one.
With even more violence popping up in the streets yet again, it was to nobody's surprise that the government decided it was time to officially end this once and for all. And so on December 8, 2009, the Prime Minister himself, Bruce Golding, stepped in to intervene in the...
This just sounds like, bro, it just sounds so repetitive, bro. Like, this just sounds like Governor fucking Rowley, you know what I'm saying? This sounds like 6 versus 7, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, that's all is repetitive. Will it ever end?
this musical beef and summoned Vybz Kartel and Mavado in the same room for a public broadcast, where many thought that there was a good chance they still didn't like each other. But of course, they did what they had to do for the camera. The government saw this beef as such a big issue that they implemented.
I'm Millie, a content creator coach and
implemented certain conditions to be followed just to ensure that the beef was sealed once and for all. And surprisingly, the two artists actually left all the previous controversy behind and surprisingly decided to move on with their lives. But did they really move on with their lives though?
No.
Or did they just become more preoccupied with more pressing matters? Because just a year later, Mavado's son was charged and convicted of murder, which led to a long string of events that ultimately ended with Mavado leaving Jamaica. And Kartel? Well, if him did think Mavado did have fame legal situation bad, he had no idea what was about to come his direction and ruin his life as he knew it forever. After the massive popularity of the Gully Gaza War, Vybz Kartel was on such a legendary trajectory that he was now being seen as the new king of dancehall. He was dropping hit after hit after hit, with songs like Ramping Shop debuting on the American Billboard Hot 100. His song Clarks, which popularized the shoe brand to the point where most Jamaican students to this day still wear Clarks.
That's where Clarks came from? Well, damn. You feel me? I used to rock some motherfucking Clarks. Bro, Clarks, nigga, you throw some Clarks, bro, you fresh as hell. You think what I'm saying? Got a nice little fit, bro. We ain't have to wear goddamn uniforms and shit to school, so we was even able to dress that shit up even more. You feel me? Clarks tough, bro. I get a pair right. I'll go buy some Clarks right now, bro.
As part of their daily uniform. Go-Go Club, which went on to take over the music industry 15 years later, the song Virginity, Ben's Punani, You and Him There, and many, many, many other songs that would be considered solidified pieces of Jamaican culture that basically every Jamaican to some extent grew up hearing or being affected by in some way. Vybz Kartel became so big that when he started bleaching his skin, starting the change from what the fans know as Black Kartel, which is pre-bleaching, to White Kartel, he was
self-love, y'all. Practice self-love, man. That's all I gotta say.
So big that when he started bleaching, thousands and thousands of his fans started bleaching as well.
You look crazy as hell, bro. Just be your fucking self. Be yourself. Y'all niggas have no identity and it scares the fuck out of me. I'm sorry for y'all. Y'all have no fucking identity, bro. Nigga look crazy as hell.
Just to follow in his example. This man even released his own brand of cake soap just for people bleach, and it literally sell out like wildfire. Now of course, the mainstream Jamaican media saw this almost Michael Jackson-like level of Jamaica.
Bruh, Michael ain't do that shit on purpose. That shit was better. You feel me? He had a fucking skin disease, my nigga. He couldn't help that shit.
Popularity and decided that they needed to cash in. This was when Kartel was offered one of the biggest opportunities of his life, when he was offered his very own reality TV show called Teacher's Pet, where he would live in a house with 20 hot sexy girls as they would all try to compete for his affection. Only God knows how big this show would have gotten.
Damn!
As many years later, we would see other people like Blueface use this format to make millions of dollars.
Who did it first, though? Hold on. What year did that shit drop? Who did it first? Flavor Flav or him? That shit looked like Flavor Flav cover, too.
When he was offered his very own reality TV show called Teacher's Pet, where he would live in a house with 20 hot sexy girls.
Let me look it up real quick and see when that shit dropped.
His affection. Only God knows how big this show would have gotten, as many years later we would see other people like Blueface use this format to make millions of dollars. However, like I said, only God knows, because unfortunately for Vybz Kartel, on September 29, 2011, he was arrested by the local authorities for possession of cannabis. And just 5 days later,
he got arrested in Jamaica? Hold on. Wait, it's illegal?
Kartel. On September 29, 2011, he was arrested by the local authorities for possession of cannabis.
Where?
And just 5 days later,
It's not legal?
the network that was going to broadcast the show
In Jamaica?
would announce that the show had been cancelled. Now, of course, this was very sad for Kartel, but if he knew what was about to come after this, he would have been begging God to let the loss of his show be the worst thing that came out of this event, because everything was about to get so much worse for Adidja Palmer than he, his fans, or even the entire country of Jamaica could have ever imagined. About a week after the arrest of Vybz Kartel, on October 3, 2011, the police, seemingly out of nowhere, upgraded Kartel's charges from possession of weed all the way up to murder. This was because he was being accused of allegedly ending the life of a music producer from Portmore who went by the name of Barrington Burton. As Kartel awaited trial for these charges, he released a book called The Voice of the Jamaican Ghetto, telling his fans that Babylon can incarcerate the messenger, but not the message. Fans held on to the hope that he may be innocent, but that became even harder when not long after, the government came right back around and hit him with another charge for the second-degree murder of Clive Lizard Williams. Kartel continued with the narrative that he was innocent and simply being set up by the Jamaican government because he was just too influential in the country and they were threatened by him. This kept fans active, begging for his release, and it only added to their fire when the Barrington Burton case verdict was reached and Kartel was deemed not guilty.
Okay.
Now, this was a solid victory for Kartel. But boy, was it far from what he needed to fix the situation as a whole, because the case with Lizard was looking a lot more complicated. You see, the reason the jury had Kartel as the man who killed Lizard wasn't just based off some loose speculation or some association to a similar gang. What connected Addy so close to the murder was when they initially arrested him just for the weed, they were able to seize his cell phone, and on this cell phone, they were surprised to find mountains and mountains of evidence to suggest that he was responsible for other crimes. And as the police
the feds, they could plant shit on you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to say that's what they did, or you feel me, whatever the case may be, but it's like, if you don't follow their rules, if you don't apprehend to everything that they doing and saying, they will fuck your ass up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's why a lot of these artists now, like Kodak and a lot of them be continuously getting arrested because they're not listening to what the upper authorities is telling them to do, and they saying fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's all it is if you want to keep it 100.
Discovered a series of crazily incriminating text messages and voice notes. It gave them strong reason to believe that he was involved. In fact, the most famous text out of this exchange that was even broadcasted to TVJ was, "Between me and you, a chop will chop up the lizard boy fine and dash him away. As long as we're alive, them can never find him." Now,
on text? Who is slow enough to text it retrieve from retrieve Kartel's phone? Text message retrieved. Bro. World dumbest criminals or nah?
Boy fine and dash him away. As long as we're alive, them can never find him. Now, of course, if you see something as specific and insane as this on somebody's phone, you go think say them did have something to do with it. At least. However, during the trial, his lawyer and his team fought tooth and nail to say that the text messages were altered after the fact and therefore should not be admissible in court.
She also said the electronic file lifted from Kartel's phone was modified 3 hours after the device was seized by a top police investigator.
See, that be that shit, bro. The text modified. Who knows the fucking truth? Only God knows the real truth. You dig what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, the feds could really plant shit on you, dog. Like.
However, in the end, it didn't even end up mattering because once they heard the voice notes on Kartel's phone.
Voice notes too. Voice notes.
And it didn't even end up mattering
Lord have
because
mercy.
once they heard the voice notes on Kartel's phone, it was basically over for him and there was no coming back. This was his voice in 4K talking and there was nothing anybody could say to deny. AI didn't exist them time. Now before I play what Kartel said, just know say shoes I want code name will refer to guns and lace is a code name will refer to bullets. Cool? Cool. In the first voice note, Kartel can be heard saying that Lizard had lost 2 of his shoes and if him never get them back by 8 o'clock, something very, very bad was going to go down.
Hombre, they don't know it's a blood clot Lizard and we. I will call my phone today and tell me, say, them can't find the 2 blood clot new shoes them when me give them dog. So them lock them in our house. Side of all feet to a bill up dog in a blood clot house they lock 2 shoes and can't find my bum buckler shoes bridging. And I come tell me, fuck me is that. I just tell them, say, make sure I get my shoes by 8 o'clock in a bad man. Bad people, them tell me, say, they can't find 2 of my shoes in the dog. I kill one of them, you know, I give them till 8 o'clock to get one bum buckler shoes.
God damn! How you go, bro? How you using code names talking about you go kill them if you don't get your shoes? How you, bro, you had them, and they start talking crazy.
I kill one of them, you know, I give them till 8 o'clock to get one bum buckler shoes. As a dead blood clot, man. That, you know.
The voice notes were being sent as part of a conversation between Kartel and one of his associates, Problem Child. And this is what Problem Child had to say in response to Kartel's frustration.
I want to tell you, man, them do it already, you know. They make them get no more chance to do that again, you know. I tell you straight, you know. I bust anytime after 8 and a man again a good talk on it, Dan. Bust off a man head and here we go do. You got bust off a man that live down there.
They didn't repeat
and one
it.
of the strange man that down there. 2 man that you got bust off one time. You can't afford for so much things I get missed up, madam. A joke thing.
The situation appeared to be that since Lizard had misplaced 2 of the guns, Kartel and Problem Child had suspected him of having sold them to an external party.
And the woman can tell her instantly say, the boy will go country ready here, move the shoes for sell them, move the shoes and for sell them in a dog.
And in order to maintain their street cred, they could never just sit back and allow something like this to slide.
My Dan, don't let them get too comfortable now, you know. That can reach him back in the night or a morning and for them back on the end, so a man forget wet up. Not forget too comfortable because them going like them one style blood clot man thing. Right, and them boy enough to sleep all in them beds 9 hours a night and them supposed to pray a bag of thing them for up. Not sleep for no man until the thing them forward, madam.
The exchange continues until Kartel says this and then goes off the grid for a while.
So it's the fact. Wait, voice notes. Back then, this was 2012. 2012. We could not send. We could send voice notes in 2012, or they retrieve a fucking phone call. Like what the hell?
Until Kartel says this and then goes off the grid for a while.
Real thing, bad man. I'm a real bomb buckler thing, dog. Big woman thing. Yeah, I hear about it, man.
After this, some time passes and Problem Child links Kartel for an update on the situation.
My dad, what the program? Don't hear from yesterday, you know, some of they are praying and wonder how I go.
Same thing as the rest of man, the boy, him take the thing them job, but the boy mama up there, dog. Dash me, I make the man them dash away now, hombre.
No, just to confirm, Lizard's mother did not actually end up being dashed away and actually ended up becoming one of Kartel's lifelong enemies, begging and pleading for his death in exchange for what happened to her son.
Me picnic never doing nothing. Me picnic never doing nothing. Me say, him a go there, that cancer go kill him in there. Him a go tan there.
But back to the story. The two continue exchanging words and frustrations about not being able to find the misplaced shoes until Kartel says to Problem Child,
yeah, above one things, man, you don't have to say nothing, man. Just listen.
And then radio silence. A few days later, Problem Child hits up Kartel while he's in the middle of getting a new tattoo and asks him about some very interesting news that he had just come across.
Problem Child. Me there put on a tattoo style. How you just see tattoo? You want a bride of Chucky, man.
I hear the Lizard and the new boy, and him Browns. 2 of them here to get dashed away. See me?
God damn.
I see him and I call me and ask me if me here, you know. You see me? And a nigga from Night Town just called me a while ago and say 2 man get dashed away for the end. So me I said to him say, I behave like me don't know who I talk, you see me?
Yo, tell me exactly where you hear, bad man. Come on, where I go. So who them say dash them where?
Out of the blues, me just hear the man and say, yo, dash a lizard in me, I say, blood clot. But I say themselves, lizard get dash.
I mean, like, damn, they couldn't use a code name for lizard. Like, they can use code names for everything else. They could have used a code name for lizard and kill and brown. What's the other dude? Brown or some shit?
On top of this, there were also messages from Lizard himself to his girlfriend, who was begging her to call the police because he feared that Kartel was about to kill him, and she said that
What are you going to do, babes? I can't answer, babe. Sorry, I'm really scared, baby. Please call police. You have to save me, please. Just you alone. Please tell Nadine to call police for me, please. You have to do it now, please. Tell them that Vybz Kartel will go kill me, please, baby. Damn! Damn! Imagine being in that position, knowing that somebody's about to kill you, and bro, he put his whole name in that shit and everything.
he sounded like he was having a breakdown in fear of his life. And perhaps the most damning of all was the video footage that was leaked of Kartel and his associates preparing for what they were going to do to Lizard once he stepped into the house.
This can't kill him, we have to swing it right and make it catch me. Yeah.
But it's like, who the fuck is recording this? Why are you recording this? The world's dumbest fucking criminals, bro. God damn! In the neck!
Yo, give me a sec.
Now, with everything we just saw, I'm not gonna lie, even from a completely unbiased perspective, I have to say this is insane. Even hardcore Gaza fans had their opinions changed by watching this. And I guess the jury did too, because after all of the evidence that came to light and hearing Kartel talk about threatening to kill Lizard, why he was going to do it, the video footage, the text messages of Lizard to his girlfriend, and everything that came up about how Lizard's body was allegedly discarded afterwards, the jury decided to rule guilty. And on the 4th of April 2014, after the longest recorded trial in Jamaica's entire history, the king of dancehall himself, Adidja Palmer, was sentenced to life in prison. But of course, regardless of him being found guilty in court, in people's minds, that had nothing to do with the music. Many people naively thought that this would be the end of Kartel's career. But of course, being arguably the most influential man in Jamaica at the time, there was no way those prison guards were not bumping his music behind closed doors. I mean, everybody loved Vybz Kartel. And so it was no surprise that new music was still regularly being uploaded, and is to this day still regularly being uploaded to his YouTube channel. I mean, that just goes to show you there is really levels to this thing.
Really
and
is.
if you want to hear the full story of how Vybz Kartel got to that level in the first place, watch the part 1 of this video on your screen.
That's what I thought we was fucking going to do. You dig what I'm saying? I thought we was going to watch part 1. I wonder if he got another video on how he got out. How did the appeal process go? How did they reverse that evidence? Because that's some crazy ass evidence. You feel me? So, hold on. Let me see. He hasn't even made a video on it yet. Oh, right here. He did. It's a 6-minute video. Let's watch this real quick.
After the longest and most controversial trial in Jamaica's entire history, dancehall legend Vybz Kartel has now officially become a free man. But after spending 13 years behind bars and so many people believing that he would never make it out, how did Adidja Palmer beat the odds? To answer these questions, we have to take it back to 2011. when Vybz Kartel was arrested for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. The case was highly controversial from the start due to the fact that Lizard's body was never found. And after 3 years of trial and even more controversy, in 2014, due to certain voice notes, phone records, and even video footage that was found on his BlackBerry torch, the jury had initially deemed this as sufficient evidence
I think you could send voice notes on the BlackBerry.
and his co-defendants to life in prison. Over the next decade, his fans and his legal team would spend absolutely no time wasted in trying to get this man free. And after many attempts that did not work out, in 2024, they were granted with a new ray of hope. After many years, Kartel's team was finally given the opportunity to take the case from the local levels and have it be reviewed by the Privy Council themselves. The Privy Council of the United Kingdom is the highest level of the legal system for all United Kingdom and Commonwealth countries. And so if they decide on something, that is the final decision. Once the Privy Council got a hold of the case, they carefully reviewed it and all of its factors. And on March 14, 2024, being live streamed to thousands and thousands of people, the Privy Council had officially announced that the convictions of Vybz Kartel were to be quashed. Now, of course, as happy as people were about this decision, it didn't make it any less surprising. If the Jamaican court system, who people already view as corrupt, wanted him behind bars, why would the old white people be the ones who want him free? Well, their reasoning was simple. There was a factor in the trial that ruined everything. According to the Jamaica Gleaner, one of the jurors in the case, Livingston Kane, was found guilty of offering a $500,000 bribe to the jury foreman to influence the other jurors to return a not guilty verdict in the case. However, the problem lies in the fact that even after the judge found this out, he still allowed the juror to continue as part of the jury. This is because after so much time had passed and so much money and resources had been poured into this trial, to scrap the whole thing and get a new jury at the last minute right before the verdict would have been almost an insanity. And so the judge was presented with an extreme dilemma. But the Privy Council stated that as much as they sympathize with this dilemma, they had no choice but to quash the conviction. Not necessarily to say that they personally believed he was innocent, but more that the fact that he was deemed guilty on paper was not valid because the trial was technically not fair. Therefore, with the convictions being invalid, they now left the decision with the Jamaican Court of Appeal to determine whether or not Kartel should get a retrial and do over everything to get a new conviction, or if they should just scrap the whole thing altogether and just release him. And the decision of the Court of Appeal was supposed to be released by the end of July of 2024. And unless you live under a rock, you'd know that they did not delay on their promise. On the 31st of July 2024, the Court of Appeal came to their ultimate decision, and after thousands and thousands of people had waited in suspense and anticipation, they finally announced that Vybz Kartel and his co-accused, Sean Storm, Andre St. John, and Kahira Jones, were to all be immediately freed. This news broke Jamaica in some of the biggest uproar from fans and celebrities that we've ever seen, with even Drake.
But why didn't they just do the I wonder why they didn't do the retrial type shit. Damn.
Reacting to the situation on his Instagram story. But why did the Court of Appeal decide that Kartel and his co-accused should be freed? Well, the president of the Court of Appeal, Justice Marva McDonald Bishop, provided an explanation. She explained that there were 12 factors that were considered, and that based on these factors, a retrial would just simply not make sense. The factors that were examined included the seriousness of the offenses, the strength of the prosecution's case, the availability of witnesses for a retrial, the ordeal to be faced by the man if a new trial were ordered, changes to the Jury Act, and the possibility of prejudice based on the information in the public domain regarding the first trial. Now, despite the serious nature of the offenses themselves, McDonald Bishop pointed out that some of those factors worked very heavily against the potential ordering of a retrial, including the insufficient and inadequate account by the prosecution of the availability of its witnesses and trial exhibits. Essentially saying that after so much time has passed, where am I gonna find them witness them there? Where am I gonna find all the evidence where them did use the first time? It's simply just been so much time that it doesn't make sense anymore. Additionally, the complex nature of the original trial, which lasted for 64 days and utilized significant resources to complete, was considered. The court also said that there was sufficient evidence to suggest that Kartel would not be able to complete a potentially longer sentence if there were to be a retrial, citing the fact that his medical condition was severely deteriorating and the fact that the holding cell he was in was basically a brick cell with no air circulation, no water, and a bucket for a toilet, which was only making his health worse. They said his neck was swollen. If you think of a shirt that is about 18.5 inches in the neck area, you couldn't even close the collar on his neck, and that's how bad it is in this moment. His face is actually swollen, and one other thing, he always wears glasses because this condition causes his eyes to protrude. In 2023, a sworn medical affidavit from Kartel's private doctor notified authorities that his Graves' disease and heart condition were getting worse, and that if he did not get surgery soon, it could be fatal. Because of these facts, the Court of Appeal ultimately decided to do away with the idea of a retrial and simply let Vybz Kartel free. And so, with the freedom of Adidja Palmer, it brings the Free World Boss era to an end. But if you want to learn how it even started and why Jamaica's favorite artist was even sentenced to life in prison to begin with, click the video on your screen right now for a full explanation of what happened in the first trial. And as always, the dance hall has been decoded.
I can't say who deserved what, you feel me? God go set that example for you, you feel me? But damn, that's what's up that he's out, he's free. That shit is hard. Like, to get a life sentence reversed, it's crazy, bro. That's, hey, God did, you feel me? But this is the end of this. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. J Sauce, I'm out this home.